This is the Blue Flax Lily, or Dianella species. Specifically, this is Dianella caerulea. Now, there are about 15 species of Blue Flax Lily, or Dianella, in Australia. They all have grass strap-like leaves, which traditionally Aboriginal people use to make baskets and cordage. All of the Dianella species also have these beautiful purple berries. You can see those. I've gone ahead and just picked a couple of those. And there are approximately 15 species of Dianella in Australia. Most of those berries are edible. Not all, some are very insipid, but on this particular species, they are edible. They're quite sweet and they have quite a nutty flavour. However, you don't want to eat too many of them because they tend to have a laxative effect. But they make a great bush snack. At the moment, it's November and these are starting to come out in their hundreds. I'll grab a couple more of those. There's a beach variety of Dianella called Dianella congesta, and that's a coastal species which grows across sand dunes right across the eastern coast of Australia. Their berries are a little bit bigger, but they are also good eating. All edible raw, but makes a great bush snack. So that's the Blue Flax Lily. Here's another great bush tucker. This is a Jabong, or Pesunia species. There are over 100 Pesunia species in Australia, and they all have a variety of different leaf shapes. This happens to be the broadleaf variety, or one of the broadleaf variety, but they all have an oval or egg-shaped fruit with a style at the end, which I'll give you a look at. They all have a protruding style on all the fruit. The fruit has a stone inside it, and the pulpy flesh around that stone can be eaten, and it's a great bush tucker, and Aboriginal people used to love it. Now, the fruit only ripens once it drops to the ground. So once they fall off and drop to the ground, a little bit after that, that's when they're great to eat. However, you've got to be quick because the wallabies, the bandicoots and the bush rats and a lot of other native animals love them as well, so you have to be quick. If you eat them off the tree, they're a little bit insipid, but they are a great bush snack. So we're going to have a look for some of these on the ground, but they are a wonderful bush tucker. Now, looking around the area, scattered all over the ground, we can find a lot of Jabongs. Now, Jabongs only ripen once they fall to the ground, and they turn a purpley colour, and the wildlife love them. Wallabies love them, bush rats, bandicoots, and if we look very carefully, we can actually see the teeth marks in this one. What they do, they sort of slice it open with their teeth in sizes, and they suck out the pulp and the seed inside. I've just collected these off the ground. These probably haven't been falling down too long, but there's a look at one that's obviously been on the ground for a while. So I'll have a taste of one of these. That's not too bad. A little bit sour to get the skin, but the pulp inside that's surrounding the stone, pretty good. Quite sweet. I think I'll try another. That one's a little bit more sour. Probably hasn't been on the ground as long. Okay, I'm going to try this one that's obviously turned brown and see what this is like. it's a very different taste. That almost tastes like stewed apples. Very nice. So obviously the ones that have been left on the ground longer have a lot more taste to them. But of course, if they don't ripen until they hit the ground, obviously the animals are going to get them before you do. Okay, so that's the Geebung or Pecunia species. Well, this is the Spiny Headed Mat-Rush. As you can see, that's why it gets its name. And these have marvellous strap-like leaves, which Aboriginal women use predominantly to make baskets with. Apart from being a source of cordage, this is also another good bush tucker. And to get the bush tucker, what we need to do, we find one of the central leaf fronds. It's a clump, and what we do, we grasp firmly in the centre and we pull up. And what we end up with is this section here. I'm going to peel off some of the outside sections. Now, depending on where the plant's growing will determine what water content is in these. Sometimes if you get mat-rush growing in a sandy, dry environment, you'll find it's not so succulent, it's a bit drier. But these are all in an area where there's quite a bit of water, so they're actually quite nice and succulent. And all I'm doing is just peeling back some of those. And the edible part is this section here. And it tastes like raw peas. And it's a good carbohydrate source. We can either eat it raw, or we can cut sections of this and boil it up and stick it in a stew. But it tastes quite nice. Quite nice and crunchy. And it tastes exactly like raw peas. The stew, as soon as it starts getting chewy, it means we're done. So you have to peel off the outer sections until you get that nice soft centre. It's good actually. Harvest quite a few now, they're everywhere, there's no shortage of these at all. So you can actually cut quite a bit of that off and you can make quite a good vegetable content to your meals. So I'm going to go ahead and collect a few of these leaves. So once again, we can use it for cordage and we can have a feed at the same time.